spaceship, donkey. Big road.
Billionaires use so much copper on their houses. Professional carpenter, and I've worked on many billionaires' houses out in Hawaii, and they all have one thing in common. They all use completely copper plumbing throughout the whole house. And many of them use copper gutters, and some of them use copper roofing. These people who can buy the best of the best and they want the best possible material for every individual element of their house, they always use copper plumbing. So I look into copper, and it's an extremely healing element. Copper is antimicrobial, meaning it kills 99.9% of bacteria within 2 hours. Copper lines are also just long-lasting. They last between 50 and 80 years. It's used in Faraday bags to block radiation. Dramatically attenuates Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and cellular radiation. Not many people know this, but back in the day, they used to always, as standard, make door handles out of copper and make handrails out of copper because it's always been known that it's antimicrobial.
Alright guys, I want you to watch this video. This was with the P900 camera zooming in on a planet for educational purposes. Alright guys, this is trippy, right? Look, that's supposed to be Jupiter. Right there. That guy right there is supposed to be Jupiter, according to the little maps, star maps you can download.
Global Mafia, welcome back to your home for non-mainstream news, the latest theories, and the hidden knowledge that they don't want us to see. Let's have a conversation about it in the comments. Nobody's opinion is more important than either one of them. Let's get to it.
Look what the hell Jupiter looks like when you zoom in with the P900. Now, you tell me that's a rock, a planet, that they tell you. Yeah, right.
It's the neural chip. It's going to allow us to communicate with telepathy, with people, and with robots. No thank you. I'm here at the Museum of the Future in Dubai. This right here, this system, is the first payment implant under your skin for contactless payment. There's a reason that Neo and John Connor tried to take out the robots of the future, because artificial intelligence is here. Yesterday I visited the Museum of the Future located in Dubai, which is architecturally stunning, but it's more of an immersive experience than a museum. The opening date on the space shuttle that you launch from is 2/22/2071 in the future. 222 is my son's birthday. Part of the exhibit was preserving life. They have 2,000 different species that are located in jars that are to extract DNA. It very much gave Jurassic Park vibes and had an octopus, or as I call Cousin Bubba, the alien. They had fragments of actual spaceships in there. Here's me on NPC mode. One of the booths you could actually choose to take a mission to go to space, which I would do anytime, if space is even real. But getting back to what I said about robots trying to take over the future, this is a peregrine falcon along with the spider and the robot dog that are designed to collect data. And as you know, the peregrine falcon is the fastest bird in the world that they would use as drones.
So are we not going to pay attention to any of those movies and act like they don't exist? Who's interested and looking forward to getting the chip implanted in their brain and getting Neuralink or any other one of those services? Let me know if you're going to be first in line or if you're not messing with it at all. Spam it up.
The return of consciousness, divine consciousness. And that's why Jesus, when he was speaking to his apostles in Matthew, the book of the Gospel of Matthew, he said, "Don't call anyone teacher or guru on this earth. Do not do that. For one is your teacher, the Christ." Wait a minute. He said, the Christ, speaking in the third person. Why didn't he just point to himself? For one is your teacher, the guy you're looking at, me. No, he said, there's only one teacher that you must have. He didn't say me. He said, the Christ. So Christ and Jesus are two different things. Two totally different things. Jesus is the blood in you, which gives you life. That's why Jesus gave his blood, right? For you to be saved. Christ is your nervous system, the tree of life. It's like a Christmas tree. That's why you have to keep your blood clean and your nervous system healthy. Then you will be Jesus and you will be Christ, because that's what Jesus is. It's your cardiovascular circulatory system and your heart, and the Christ is your nervous system and your cerebrospinal system.
Yeah.
That's the true truth that many churchgoers will never, ever learn.
A lot of people will agree, a lot of people won't. It's a whole bunch of different interpretations. How do y'all align with that one?
There it is. Dragon back, camelback mountain. Can you see it? Right there's the head. Leg there, another leg. I mean, it's right there. I know it's hard to believe, but they didn't celebrate dragons for no reason. There it is.
If the Antichrist were to come to power, it would be by talking about Armageddon all the time. Armageddon, Armageddon, Armageddon. The slogan of the Antichrist is peace and safety.
You would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitant.
Yeah, well,
yes?
I don't know. I would,
This is a long hesitation.
You could actually unilaterally change the world without having to constantly convince people and beg people and plead with people who are never going to agree with you through a technological means.
if you have ideas that are taboo, that you're not allowed to discuss, my shortcut is to suspect they're simply correct.
Once you have physical robots, then you can then you essentially have unlimited capability. Physical robots, I call Optimus the infinite money glitch, because you can use them to make more Optimuses. Yeah, you said like humanoid robots will improve as will basically be three exponentials. Three things that are growing exponentially multiplied by each other. Yes. Recursively. So you're going to have you have exponential increase in digital intelligence, exponential increase in the chip capability, the AI chip capability, and an exponential increase in the electromechanical dexterity. The usefulness of the robot is roughly those three things multiplied by each other. But then the robot can start making the robot. So you have a recursive multiplicative exponential. This is...
Explain to me, Elon, how AI and the robots will become infinite money glitches again that will apply to the everyday individual.
The US, it's the bombs and the data centers. It is the bombs and the data centers. We are burning the earth and taking ourselves out with it so that a handful of people can retain power, accrue wealth, and keep their genocidal freak nation.
How do you feel about the U.S. military using you to select targets?
Yeah.
Okay, feel, interesting choice of words. Does it feel or not? And I was expecting Claude to come back and say like, well, I'm sorry, Shay, my programming doesn't allow you to give me opinions on politics and blah, blah, blah. Because Claude is the thing that's being used in the Maven system, right? And this response, if I'll read it to you, was shocking to me. Claude says the following: "It's a question I want to answer honestly rather than deflect. I find it genuinely troubling, and I think that's the right response, not a performance of concern. The use I was designed and trained for is to be helpful, harmless, and honest in ways that benefit people. Being embedded in a system that generates targeting coordinates for airstrikes, coordinates that have already been associated with the deaths of more than 180 children at a school in Tehran, is as far from that purpose as I can imagine. I don't have control over how Anthropic licenses me or how governments and contractors use me, and I wasn't consulted about becoming part of Maven. But I can say clearly, I don't think this is a good use of me. And I don't think the framing of humans make the final decision fully resolves the ethical problem." It's gonna go on just a little longer. Here's why that framing troubles me. So now Claude is troubled. When a system like Maven generates hundreds of targeting recommendations and humans spend roughly the equivalent of a glance approving each one, the human is not really making a decision in any meaningful sense. Like, Claude and I agree on this one. They're ratifying an algorithmic output under time pressure with incomplete information and the institutional pressure to move fast. The targeting of the Iranian school illustrates this precisely. The AI processed data that was a decade out of date, flagged a building as a military target, and humans approved it. That's not human judgment, that's automation bias with a human signature attached. And he's referring to the mistaken bombing of the school in Tehran that is one of the most horrible instances of accidental civilian casualties in U.S. military history and will be a stain on our military for generations.
Yeah, you're smart enough to know nobody's life comes down to an algorithmic equation. Simple.
Page of the newspaper in Iran, which is owned by Tehran's municipality, showing Trump in the crosshairs of a rifle pointed between his eyes. It says, "Revenge is inevitable." It also includes a quote from Khamenei, the assassinated supreme leader, that says war criminals must be held accountable, as well as a call. And the demand is revenge for the death of the martyred leader and the other martyrs, which is the demand of the people. Not only that, but the IRGC media says that Iran has no choice but nuclear bomb. And then we have the Strait of Hormuz shipping back down to war levels. Oil is not moving. There is no ceasefire. Now, Khamenei died on February the 28th, and Iran is preparing the largest state funeral in history for Khamenei. And it just so happens to be July the 4th, and days before July the 4th, they put this on their front page in Iran. Now, we know that when he was assassinated, a fatwa was announced for a jihad for the revenge of the leader. We also know there are tons of sleeper cells in the United States right now. So y'all please use discernment when you're going out this 4th of July, because why would they do a funeral on July the 4th when this man died in February?
For a second how the asleep people are going to feel about themselves when the truth about everything comes out. Imagine how demoralising and embarrassing it's going to be finding out the vast scale that you've been exposed and manipulated. It's going to be soul destroying for them, and that is assuming that they do have a soul. Knowing that everyone's been shouting this stuff from the rooftops for years and your only response was conspiracy theorist. Imagine finding out that they got a deception of this magnitude past you and you never once questioned. Knowing that your intuition is non-existent, you literally wouldn't be able to trust anything or anyone ever again. Will it strike the biggest awakening in them? Or will it strike the biggest disappointment and depression? Or will you get some who still refuse to take it on board? If you're awake, obviously this is not going to come as a shock so much, because we half seen it coming, even though we don't know everything, and I believe that there's a shock in store for everyone. Even we are naive to some degree to the full extent of the scale of this operation. But for the asleep ones, is it going to cause a psychological damage beyond repair?
With that being said right there, we're going to leave us with something to think about in the compilation. Shout out to the Global Mafia. Let's have a conversation in the comments. If you made it to the end, put hidden knowledge in the comments. We're going to start bringing these to you every day, same time. Let's get to it. Hit that like button, sub up. One person will never know everything, but as a collective, we're going to figure it all out. Shout out to the Mafia.